Hello, my friends. I'm ready for a flip through. Are you ready for a flip through? Apparently, July, probably a lot earlier in July, is when most people do their, hey, let's see how our notebook's working, which apparently is called Techo Kaigi, which is notebook meeting. So checking in with your notebooks and see how they're meeting. So we're going to do that, but first I'm going to do flip through. Scoot those just a little bit. So this is my main planner right now, but I'm ready to make some changes. So, oh, that flipped over. This charm is one I actually bought at the beginning of the year, a little before the beginning of the year, and it says Grace. It was just a handmade charm off of Etsy somewhere because my word of the year is grace. And I had just learned about Planner Perfect and was seeing all those charms and a bunch of other things and their charms. And I think I decided to do that I wanted a charm initially from the Traveler's Company. They had their charms that they do. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So this was the one. I like to have my word of the year somewhere where I can see it a lot. So this is what I'm using right now. We're just going to look really quickly and see what it is and then talk about the other thing. So, let me scoot these out of the way just a little bit more. So, I use the Pilot G2. Very basic. I am generally a ballpoint girl. This is gel, but mostly it's fine. The problem with gel is that if you get your letter wrong, which truthfully I just recently started writing in cursive again, just because I like the way it looked more. And so sometimes I go and I do an extra hump, or I go on to the next word before I'm done with the first word. And so then if you try and correct it, it gets really dark, which doesn't happen with a ballpoint. So, there's that. But I'm a big fan of the scratching, the scritchy, when you write on more textured paper. So Planner Perfect works for that, and this gel pen works for that as well. I have the one little ollie clip, which I lost and then bought a new one and then found again. So now I have two, which is fine because I love them. Okay, so you open it up and this is what I have in the beginning. One of the reasons that I decided to do, you're just going to have to ignore that if I can't get it off. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. One of the reasons I decided to do Planner Perfect was because I was watching a lot of videos and people were decorating and it was so pretty and they had their little ribbon and they had, I'm sorry, I tried really hard to get rid of all the dog hair. We have a beautiful kind of long-haired dog, but he has white hair and he sheds a lot and it's on everything. So I apologize. I try really hard to get it off, but like I said, it's on everything. So I saw a lot of Planner Perfect videos and people were doing all kinds of cool things here where they had clips and they had these little things and they would do the ollie clips, which is why I got an ollie clip, and the little ribbon that they clip on here, which I didn't get yet. And anyway, that's why I got a Planner Perfect notebook, the book, the actual cover. And I'll say that again. Something about that later. So then I have this, I guess we call it a dashboard. And I've seen people cut the papers, cut one for this side and one for the other side. Oops, one for the other side. But I cut the whole, I left, I don't know if you can see. The back is there too, because this is all one piece from the large piece of Cocoa Daisy. I am almost exclusively using Cocoa Daisy products and Hiccup Planner Perfect products. So most of the decorative things are Cocoa Daisy because I've mostly switched over to them. But this is one of those big 13 by 8.5, I think, papers. Is that how tall it is? I don't know. I think so. And I cut it down, but I kept the fold. And I chose those papers instead of a different one because it already has that fold and I knew it would fold better. So I chose one. I go through them and I'm like, what image do I want the most? The first thing when I open it. And this is what it was for this one. I try to make sure I like the inside. This one, it didn't really work for what I was doing, so I did use another paper here Just a minute, gotta make sure this is in place. And then I put the journaling prompts here. Oh, look, there's a quote from Jimmy. I am not my emotions. They are simply energy passing through. It's a beautiful thought. And then right now, of course, you have hidden pictures. And that's not like if you look, you can find them. It's hidden, like you're not supposed to see them. These are my grandson, and I'm not supposed to show him. So just picture the most beautiful grandson ever, and that's my grandson. A little quote. One of my daughter's a high school counselor, and one of her students said, "Your life is valuable to me." And it was beautiful, and I loved it. And I heard the saying, "Go be your favorite self." So I kept that. Now, when I first started, I used a very basic traveler's notebook, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but it came with one of these folders, which I guess is pretty standard. A lot of people have those. And I've used it a lot, but I'm not a big fan of craft paper, craft covers. I just ignored it for a long time, and then I was like, I have these stickers. I should just put these stickers on things. This is from a little craft sale fair thing. And this is from Cocoa Daisy, and then let's see, the back is from something I ordered from, what is it? Shine Sticker Studio. Okay, should look them up, I guess. This is a picture of me and my daughters after we ran our 5K, our last 5K. Obviously, not supposed to show them either. So I do keep these in here in case I want to use them. So far, any journaling that I'm doing, I have everything that I want in my own brain. So I haven't needed those. I might still use those someday. In my folder, I have these 2 stickers that I got from that same fair that remind me of myself and my husband. So I put those in there, and this is from a hike I did. This I was going to talk about. This is my budgeting, which is not actually budgeting. It's a bill tracking. So I have this little star means that it's set up to auto pay. This P means that it's PayPal, and if it doesn't have one, then I'm in charge of making sure it happens. So we have our house and a rental, so we have to make those payments, and then we have all these other things. So at the beginning of the year, or whenever I set up a new one of these, I'll probably do one of these for August because I'm making some switches. But I go through and I find all the recurring bills that we have. I write down the amount. I do it in pencil because sometimes it changes out of the year. And then these are just the months. And after it's been paid, I go through and I scribble it out. We had, in the first, I want to say, I think in the first 20 years of our marriage, my husband was laid off like 10 or 11 times. It was just a bunch of stuff going on and a bunch of situations, but we had a lot of financial insecurity. We were quite poor a lot of the times and just didn't know how to manage money a lot of the times. And because of all that, I have some money trauma, and our utility bill would come due and I didn't want to pay it because I didn't know what else was going to come before we got more money. It was a whole thing. So this was life-changing for me. I figured out how much we need in a month, and half of that, every paycheck, goes into a bill-paying account, and everything comes out, and then I track it. And then I go, okay, about once a week, I go through and I check things off. And I go, okay, we have enough money to get us through to the next one. My husband gets paid every 2 weeks. So every few months, we actually have an extra paycheck in there. It doesn't quite work out, a full extra paycheck, but we get a little buffer and, But then I started spending it all through Planet Perfect and Cocoa Daisy, and that's a whole thing. If we cancel something, like we canceled Netflix, then I just exit out until I redo it. And I try to leave an extra space in case, something else happens during the year that is going to be recurring, which I had, and then, things happened. So it needs to be this size because I want it in here. And if you make it much smaller, it's a little tricky to use. So anyway, there's that. Let me make sure. Okay. And then on the back, I have an annual spending. So I have the 12 months and what are the things that are going to come out that month. So Amazon Prime comes out in August. So I know to make sure we have a little extra in there for that. I have birthdays. There's my birthday. Most of the birthdays aren't showing because I'm trying to keep it private. Just as a reminder, this one has a trip and a question mark because sometimes for Thanksgiving we take a trip. But this is just a way that I can keep track and kind of go check and say, do we have the money for this? Have we been saving for this? When we need to renew our cars and things like that. So It's really helpful. I use this a lot more than that, but sometimes. And I showed this a little bit. As you look at this time, it's going to look very sparse because there was a lot of stuff going on and the planning didn't happen. Part of it was I was trying to get set up for this video, and I was like, oh, if I write certain things on there, then I can't show it and I'll just have to cover them. So I just didn't. So that's what happened. But I have one of these so far. I have one of these, and I made this, and I do it, I make a new one once a week, and I redesigned it so I could have room for some washi, and I like to track the weather and have a little bit of color there. But again, I haven't been filling it out a whole lot. I do have at the end, I have hey, let's mark these things. This is not necessarily habits. These are just healthy things. And if I don't feel well, I can go, oh, I haven't been going outside, or I haven't spent any time with people this week, or whatever. So that's what this is. And when I set up my next one, I'll show you the new one. I usually keep a swatch page of the markers that match the current kit. For anybody who's new, I'm colorblind, so that's why Cocoa Daisy works so well for me, because the kits are all already coordinated. Swatching them myself is very, very hard. It takes me a good long time, like half an hour to choose colors, and then I still have to get them cleared by my daughter, who's an artist. And sometimes people online on the Facebook page will post their swatching, and usually mine overlaps a little bit. I actually need a few more light ones than most people use because of what I do with it. I try to get some dot markers that work. Anyway, and then this is just stuffed with whatever. These are stickers because I trade off teaching on Sunday with my partner. And so if I put those on, then I can remember. Because sometimes I'm an old person. I'm 55, which doesn't sound that old. But I had a hysterectomy like 10, 12 years ago. So I'm like 10 years ahead in some of my aging. Because it was a complete hysterectomy, ovaries and everything. So my brain just doesn't work. So if I put this on my calendar, then I can keep track. It's very helpful. This is a list of those. Hey, these are some exercises you can do to get rid of that waddled neck. And it's not a waddle. Waddle's back here. Anyway, get rid of that horrible neck, that old lady neck. And I don't ever do them. It's been there forever. This is a little stencil that I got from Pen and Gear when I first decided to bullet journal, which was a few years ago. I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend $35 on a journal. Oh my gosh, that's so funny to me now. So I just got one from Walmart. It was a Pen and Gear, and the stencil came with it. And the paper was way too thin for what I wanted to do. It was a fun book, and I still have it, and I still use it to sketch things out sometimes. But this stencil I recently found, and I keep it in here because it's tiny and it fits perfectly. And this circle works really well to make my sun, because I wanted the sun to look good. Do I have all of them done? Let me see. Okay, sometimes I set these up in bed, and I'm trying to line this up, and it's a little scawampus. So my sun is a little over to the side, but that's okay, because, we don't have to be perfect with the sun. Don't be silly. Okay, and then this, I have that. And then I go here. This is my July planner with Planner Perfect. And it's beautiful, and I love it. And the books are amazing, and her artwork is amazing. I'm less of a fan of the new art. I understand why she needs to not create all the covers anymore. But I really like the ones with her art. So I'm ordering those. Plus, I want to choose what I want for that month. And if I just get the subscription, because I did try the subscription for a while, where she chooses the cover that you get. And frequently, there's no way it's going to go with Cocoa Daisy, or it's just not my style. So I order the one that I want, and you have to order it a little ways out because it takes a couple of weeks before you're going to get it. Anyway, so this is the one I chose. I love it. I was going to say something else. I don't know what it was. But here's what we do. I'm trying to see. Okay, so this is what I do with my monthly. And I have a couple of books, and I'll show you those, and I do all the monthlies the same. I've seen people who do this sticker set with this one and this with this one, and they change it up and whatever. My base layer is the same. I get decision fatigue, So choosing and thinking is hard for me sometimes. So if I just do the base by myself, if I just do the base the same for all of them, then it takes some of that out of my head, and then everything else is more joyful for me. So just a very basic thing, a few little stickers. I have these great stickers from Franny Lamb Stickers, I think is the official name. I will link her. Most of these are from her. Some of these are from somewhere else. I'll link anybody that I use down here. So one thing that I've decided, I just put appointment or birthday or whatever. I don't put their name or what it is, because most of my forward planning I do on my phone, on Google Calendar. But on the birthday, I started writing it over here, but I had them all up here, and I thought, oh my gosh, you're not using these lines. So what I'm going to do is when I have something that week, I'm going to write it at the end here. And so this birthday would be written here, and these birthdays would be written here. So I think that's going to help. Also, little note on the 17th, I hit 20 years with a headache. Yes, 24/7, headache, 20 years. How about that? That's pretty great. Okay. It's not great, but I'm okay. And millions of tests. There's nothing serious going on. Okay, this is how I use my weeks. Very basic decorating, couple of washes, just a marker to highlight, and that's why I need lighter colors, because if I use something really dark, I'm going to lose these. And then this time I used some stickers. I don't always use stickers, but sometimes. And as I said before, I don't really schedule on here, but what I do is I put down some things that I would like to do. It's not a to-do list, it's a to-do menu. So I'm like, these are the things that I want to do. What can I do? Because I have some health issues, and I get up and I go, can I do the dishes? Maybe not right now, but what I do is I do little bits at a time. So I walk in the kitchen for something, and maybe I'll unload one tray of the dishwasher, the upper tray, and then I do other things, and then later I come through and I do a little bit more. And sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes even something as simple as the dishes has to be just a little bit at a time. But I put a heart to as like a bullet point and color it in when I'm done. Do I have any here? Sometimes I start it, but I don't finish it, and then I'll just color half of it in. And I have the water plants here from the set. I had a plant. I had some flowers my daughter gave me for Mother's Day. And then we had a heat wave, and they're long dead, and those are the only plants I had, because plants and I don't do well. So sometimes, like here, I have these things that are not done. So sometimes I'll actually transfer it to a different day, and sometimes I'll just go, okay, I can't do any of these today. Can I do some of those? Yes, and I'll just check it off over there. It doesn't matter to me if it's on the day that I actually did it. Okay, and then here's another one. Why did I highlight two of them? I don't know. This one's more full. I don't know. I think it's the same thing. I've started using this upper row right next to the whatever to mark if there's a holiday or an important event. So this was my friend's funeral, and this was a holiday, and this was a major migraine day. So I just marked those a little bit. This is rub-on. Let me just tell you, I'm struggling with rub-ons. I love them, and I feel like I did okay at the beginning, and then I got worse at them to where it makes the paper curl. Do you guys have that problem? The paper is curling, and my daughter tried to explain the nature of paper and why that's happening, and I think it's because I'm pushing too hard. But I feel like if I don't push hard, it doesn't always come off onto the paper. So you guys tell me if you ever had this problem and if you fixed the problem, and maybe I can fix the problem. Okay, so this page, it's another one. Why do I have this one marked as well? I don't know. So if I move it, I can just go there, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I didn't mean to show you all of them. But, so I do this here, and then I don't do scripting. And scripting is a whole other topic that we're not going to go into right now. What it's turned out to be for me is a form of journaling, but not serious journaling. Just kind of a, here's what happened today, or here's what's going on in my brain, which I guess is regular journaling. Journaling is a whole issue for me that goes way back to my grandma, probably further than that. but that's a topic for another video. But I kept this one marked because I wrote, I think I've officially decided that I want to go back to my original traveler's notebook, which means back to narrow inserts. I already have my planners for August and September, and they're wide. So I plan to make the full switch in October. Perfect time, since I love October so much. It will be like Christmas, only better. So I've decided, and I don't know why I didn't decide this sooner. I tend to start planning for the next year around November, early November, just because of something I used to have to do for my job. And really, my brain starts doing it sooner. And I've decided October is January for me. October is when my new year is going to start. So I'm going to get a new yearly month, the whole year. And it's going to start in October, and it's always going to start in October, which also means that I'm a little off schedule with everybody else, which helps. And come New Year, I'm good to go. It's all done. Anything else in here? No. Okay, so I have that book, and that's my main planning book. I would call it a planning book. And then I have the sticker release book, and this one I got from Traveler's Company. I finally used a pocket. These come in some of the Cocoa Daisy things, and I love them. They're beautiful, but I haven't used them because I was like, I'm going to put them in something and throw it away. I don't think so, because it just wasn't something I was keeping. But I'm going to keep this. This is a highly reusable thing that's going to stay in here for a long time. So I thought this would be a good place to put it. And I just have some random, I can put this on one of my things because I went out with my ladies last night. Anyway, I could put that on my calendar. It'll be in here instead of in my, what do we call it? My planning box. Anyway, so in here mostly I have these stickers, and these are from Amber Plans Her Day, the Bible, Bible journaling, whatever. But this was number 3, and she releases a book, and you use it, and then, and you get it, and then she sells them until they're gone, and then they're gone. She doesn't restock them. So, if you like them, you should go, follow her somewhere or something. But I really like them. I know there are people who are like, I'm glad Cocoa Daisy has more colors and whatever. I like these because they're black and white. Because I'm a colorblind person, it's easy for me to know they're all going to match. They're basic, they're pretty, they say very neutral things. They're Christian, obviously, but they're a lot of these, and I don't know about our other ones because I didn't get them, are, let's see, like song quotes. Where does she have those? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Perfect. There are a bunch of other ones. And this is one of my favorite sayings, by the way. Stop trying to steal the pen. I've actually had to use that in my brain several times recently. Quit trying to change what he's trying to do in your life. But it's a really big book, and I like to have just all my stuff close in small containers or stacks that I'm going to plan with. So I wanted to just pull a few out. So I pulled out some of my favorites and put them in here. These are leftovers from Cocoa Daisy journaling kit, because what I do, Bible journaling kit. I had been getting the Bible journaling kit because I love the idea of it and the sentiments of it, but I'm just not using it. So I cut back, and I think, did I get it for August? I might have gotten it for August, but not September. So I decided, since I wasn't using it, I would take the ones that were definitely religious, and I would put them in this book so that they're closer at hand for what I'm doing, and I try to use them up, and if they're still here at the end of the month, then I transfer them back to one of my other sticker sheets that I store with my kit, and I will show you my organizing another time. Anyway, so there's that. So soon those will be going away. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm sure most of you do, but not everybody does, because I didn't. This book is made of, it's called sticker release paper, which means it's like the paper that your stickers come on. You can put stickers on it and they come right off, like wax paper, only a little bit nicer, and it's in a book. Come on. Anyway, so there's my sticker release paper. This is my faith journal, and when I got when I started Planner Perfect, which was the beginning of this year, I kind of wanted to try everything. So I got a yearly, which has all 12 months, and I got a 6-month, which is what this is, and I got some monthlies, and I've tried a bunch of different kits. Nope, this is Planner Perfect, not Cocoa Daisy. I did the full subscription. Nope, not full, just the planner. I did the accessories and planner a couple of times, decided that was not working for me. Did just the accessories, decided that was way too much money for not enough stuff and things that don't really work for me. But I've tried one of each of the main ideas. So this is my 6-month agenda. And let's see, what am I going to show you? So I like to switch over immediately in my monthly, but in here, they're all in here. So I just switch when it's the next month. I start it, and I had some extra days because they overlap to the other one. And I was like, what am I going to do with them? I could write scriptures in them, because that's what I do. I write scriptures in it. I'm not doing the whole scripture writing with the calligraphy or brush lettering or anything, maybe someday, and I'm not doing a ton of studying. I'm just writing a scripture because I wanted more scripture in my life without a ton of pressure because, you know, my brain and my health and a bunch of stuff right now. So that's what I'm doing, and not every day, and that's okay. I give myself a lot of grace, which works well this year because that's my word of the year. So I decorated them, and I'm like, well, now what am I going to do with that? And I couldn't think of anything, and I found this sticker, which, you know, hit me hard in the heart. A lot can happen in 3 days, and that's a very Christian reference about the resurrection of Christ and all that power, and that's a really cool one. And it's too big to use anywhere else, so I put it right there. How's that? Pretty cool. Yeah, I know. So this is how I do it's like, it has weeklies, right? It's just weeklies. And for 6 months. And so I just write a scripture in each one when I have a day. I have very basic decorating. Why is this? Oh, because this is here. So I'll show you another one of those in a second. But so I do my monthly, and like I said, this looks almost exactly like the other one. And what I've started to do, I've got prayer and praises, because what I try and use this for, and some of this is because of, I didn't have my book with me, and that's another thing, another issue we're going to talk about. But I choose one person who I really think needs my prayer that day. And there are a lot of people I pray for every day. But then one person really, really, really needs my prayer for that day. And I write them in here so that I'm thinking of them and I'm praying for them. And hopefully, you know, they're getting a little bit of help for that day. And the energy that I'm sending out to them can be helpful and healing, and it helps me love them more. It's just great. So that's the prayers. And then sometimes I use, like if I don't write a scripture, because I'm just, by the time it's time, I've been doing it before bed, I'm just so wiped out. I can't. So I'll put a sticker in, or sometimes I won't do anything. See, this page is barely decorated, but I wrote this, I put the sticker in, and I'm like, follow this. He's going to guide you. Follow him. So things like that. One where I wrote the thing and then I wrote amen or whatever. So that's what those are. I shouldn't go any further because they're not marked. So that's what's in here. That's what's in here. Also, I bought this. This is the Travelers Company pencil board, although they call it a plastic something, plastic board, plastic sheet. I don't know. It is like a, not too thick, but it is a plastic. And the reason I got this, sometimes the pages are a little, I want to go somewhere that I already showed you so I know that it's something that's ready. Okay, so some of the things don't have dots like I want the dots. So if I put this behind it, I can see the lines and it will help me write straight. But mostly the reason I got this is because I'm trying to cut back on my Cocoa Daisy kits, which means I'm going to need to use the die cuts. But the die cuts are kind of thick. So if I put this on it before I write on it, then I can still use the die cuts, and it's not going to be a problem when I write on the next page. Because if you put a die cut there, then you flip the page and you're writing right there, it's going to get bumpy, like if you have something under you when you're writing on the table. So I got this. I'm going to try it. This is last year's. I'm hoping to get this year's. I haven't bought anything as in, ooh, it's a brand new year, a Travelers Company, you should buy this. But I'm going to try and do that one this year. So that's what's in this one. Now, I was only ever a one book planner. People are like, oh, one book July or whatever. I was only ever a one book planner. In fact, in 2015, this was my calendar. I had it in my purse and that was all I used. Let's see what I got. May. Yeah, that's what I used. And it has a little bit of journaling where I was just tracking how things were going in therapy. And then this one has, doctor's appointments, and this one doesn't have it because my kids are a little older, but there was a time when my calendar would be completely full of soccer games and baseball games and softball games and things like that. So, but this little calendar was all I needed. It was fine. I could keep it in my purse. It wasn't a problem. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, when I started college, the Franklin Covey planner became a huge thing. And I was like, oh, it's so fancy. It's so cool. I couldn't afford a Franklin Covey planner. And it was so thick. I swear it was like 2 inches thick and had all these papers I was never, ever going to use. So I used what's called a day timer. If I can find a picture, I'll show it. I'll put one here. Although I think I found one and it was more modern. But basically it was just a monthly calendar. And you flip a page and it's another monthly calendar. But you could buy refills and you could decide what you wanted in it. So I had the monthly, and I think I had the address book because this was back before we had our phones and you had to write down everybody's address and their phone number and everything. I can't remember what else it had, but it didn't have a lot. And I didn't have the official day timer book because I couldn't afford it. We were super poor when I got married early. And I just bought a little binder from the office store, Staples or something, a little binder, and just put them in, and that was it. So that, and then this, and I've used a wall calendar. But then in 2020, I learned about bullet journals, actually a little before 2020. So I did my first bullet journal. I don't think I'm going to open it because I didn't mark anything. This is my first bullet journal. I tried to do a little bit of everything. It's got some fabric in here, although it's really funny because now I like the idea of chunky, and then I was trying not to make it chunky, but I knew if I used things, it was going to be chunky. It's a whole thing. Also, I added my own little charms. And so this is early 2020. I was so excited to start it in 2020. I bought the book. I bit the bullet and spent $35 for a book. And I had some old markers and I just used those. And I did all this planning, and then in March, the world shut down. So my planning became very different, and what I thought my book was going to be, it wasn't, but I kept doing it. I did bullet journals for a long time. This is, let's see, 2023, early 2023, I think. And this was my last A5 bullet journal. I had different charms. I always put different charms on. Some fun stickers, which I could do because I got the professional, I don't know what it's called, but the one that doesn't have the little scribbles. And I love scribbles that matter. If you're going to do a bullet journal, great notebooks. I love them. And I loved the way this one looked. And I loved it, and I used it a lot. Did I use it to its full potential? Probably not. I have a different life than I did before, and there's just not as much planning or events or whatever. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I have some different layouts I want to do. I need a bigger book. So I got, let's see, A5, B5? I think this is called B5. And it's much bigger. It's not as big as an A4. Is that what a full-size one is? A full-size page? Sorry, I think I got off the thing. A4 is a bigger, like full-size paper. Anyway, I got this bigger one because I wanted to try some different layouts. Did I actually need more space? No, but I was like, I want to do these other layouts and I need a bigger book for that. So I bought this and I started filling it out for 2024. And I did a bunch of things. I was super excited about it. And then I learned about traveler's notebooks. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I wanted for so long, is a traveler's notebook. And I looked at the Travelers Company because they were the originals and they had everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Every month I have to pay $15 to get another book every single month, plus the expensive first book. Again, it seems ridiculous to me now, but also my kids were getting older and I didn't actually I didn't actually realize we had a little more flexible income because my kids were moving out and we were spending less on them, but whatever. So what I found was I went on Amazon and I found this traveler's notebook. I'm going to move these out of the way. This, by the way, I took out the couple of pages that I did. I'm going to use this for a stamp swatch book. Oh, sorry, noisy. So I found this notebook, and it was, I think at the time it was $25, might have been $30, but it also came with a bunch of inserts. I was like, this is gonna be great. I just wanted to test it out. I'm big on, you know what? I want to try it. Just buy one if I can't recreate it. I did try recreating some things, but I just bought one. Let's bite the bullet, give it a shot. And if I really like it and I can't afford it, then I'll just make my own inserts. That's fine, which I did for a while, but not money reasons, just because the other inserts are so big and they didn't really do what I wanted. So I made my own and it was fine. Very utilitarian, not very pretty. I hadn't seen the decorative the decorative traveler's notebook planning yet. So I had this, used it for a full year. Absolutely loved it. I loved the raw leather. It's just a thin strip of leather, and I loved it. That was one of the things I loved the most about it, it was just this very simple leather. And then I'm doing the Cocoa Daisy stuff, and I put this patch on it, and I love this patch, and it's adorable, and I can't take it off because then it would leave a big mess, and then I didn't want it on there, and I couldn't take it off. So, yeah. So I can't really use this right now. I can, but it's not what I wanted. Anyway, so this was all of 2024. As I was approaching 2025, I started seeing videos with Planner Perfect and Cocoa Daisy. I don't remember if Jimmy Vane, if she was the first one, but she was definitely the one I connected to the most because we're similar age, similar lifestyle, whatever, similar life beliefs, both HSP, things like that. So I kind of watched a lot of her stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll try the Planner Perfect. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. They're fabulous. They're so high quality, and they're so expensive. I was like, sure, I have some disposable income, but I don't have that much disposable income. That's crazy. And the Cocoa Daisy as well. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try a month, maybe 2, and we'll see if I like it. So like I said, I did those various experiments with Planner Perfect, and with Cocoa Daisy, I started with just the creative kit because it was the only subscription I could get. And then I, over time I was able to add a couple more, and then I way overbought, and then I've had to dial back. But I bought this one. I actually bought one before this. I bought a narrow, and I bought it on the buy sell trade, so it was like half the cost. And I tried it. Well, it got here and it was really stiff. I guess it didn't occur to me to even consider whether the leather would be stiff or floppy, because I really like the floppy. It was very, very stiff. And I was like, this one, I can use it and it's beautiful, but it's not really what I want. And I kind of wanted to try the wide notebooks. So when I saw this one, this one's Quinn. When I saw this one for a super good price, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy that one. Also, this book currently has wide and narrow, and I don't have any problem with that. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually switched to this one before I had wide, so they were all narrow. Also really great. So I loved it. It was beautiful, but it was also not quite what I wanted. It's thinner up here. It's still really thick, and it's got these very thick bindings. It's very formed binding, what do we call this? Spines. And I understand the reason for it, but it wasn't what I wanted. So not what I wanted as far as the leather, but it's so beautiful. And I had these things and I wanted to use it, and I wanted to use the wide. And this was the only one that I had that was wide. And so I decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. And turns out I'm not one who decorates her stuff. So other people do all these things, and I tried those things, and I'm like, it's not me. It's not what I want. And this and this little charm is plenty for me. That's all I need. And I use that folder to tuck things in, so I don't really need that pockets. Oh my gosh, I want to change. I want to change back. I made that realization. And so I actually looked for a wide version of this, and these guys didn't have one. I couldn't really find one that I liked. And then I was like, you know what? This was when I was happy. I was happy with this for a year. I didn't even consider anything else for a year. So I bought another one of these. So I have this one, and I'm switching back to this in October, and I'm very excited about it. I gave away my September plan, and I'm going to, I'm still going to use my August book that I bought, which is wide. I think probably I'll just put everything in here, and then I'll just carry that because I want to fully switch over. Yeah, so there's that. So like I said, I was a one book person. The idea of having more than one traveler's notebook was as close as I came, which is I want this little book for this, and I could separate it out and have this, which is part of why I like the bullet journal, but part of what didn't work for me because you can do sections. But here, this is even better. Plus, let me tell you something I found out. I would get stressed about, I'm trying to make this in my bullet journal, and if it doesn't turn out well, I've ruined that part, and it's going to be there for 6 months or a year, depending on how long I use the bullet journal. And every time I go back, I'm going to see it. This one I entered differently. So first off, I entered it knowing it was an experiment, and I planned to go, I don't really know how I'm going to use this. I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to try it that way. So I entered it knowing it was an experiment and it wasn't going to be perfect. Also, this is the big thing. It's just for a month. So if I do something in it I hate, in a month it's going to go in a drawer somewhere or storage somewhere. Because these are beautifully made, and I do want to keep them. That was part of the reason that I got them, because I feel like if I plan and journal, it's as close as I can get to journaling right now. And I'm not doing memory keeping, so that can kind of be in here. And these are nice enough that saving them feels worthwhile to me. Whereas my own inserts that I made were very utilitarian, nothing worth saving, and I was just throwing them all away. Actually, I kept them for a while. It was like, I don't know why, and I threw them all away. But the idea that it's temporary, right? I'm going to change to a new book in a month, which actually costs about the same price as a bullet journal, just one insert. So, like I said, that was where the idea of, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend that much every month. I can't believe I have to spend that much every month is ridiculous now, because now I'm spending this much every month. I did consider not using this, seeing if I could find a different notebook system. And I still might. If you have a monthly planner system, notebooks, inserts that you like that kind of do the same job, let me know. Maybe I'll try them. And I did try some Cocoa Daisy, and I'll show you those. But this is what I loved about this. Like I said, I don't always feel well. Sometimes there's no way I can plan. There's just not. My brain and my body can't handle it. These come with a calendar, and they come with the weeks already. So I don't have to set it up. I can decorate it, but it's already set up. That's a huge thing for me with my health. So that's part of the reason that I want to stick with this. So that's my one book that is changing. But also, like I said, I was a one book person, and that was all I wanted. And then I was like, oh my gosh, look at those cool wallets that Planner Perfect makes. Let me just say, I think the leathers and the wallets and things, even though everybody acknowledges that they're luxury, they're high end as far as cost, they're also very well made. I think there are a lot of people out there who are used to spending stuff like this on like a purse or a nice pair of shoes. I am not that person. I have one purse that I've used for 2 years, and it's like a $30 backpack I bought at Walmart, and it's doing great, and it makes me happy, and it doesn't match most of my stuff, and I just don't care. I'm just not that person. The only shoes I've spent over $100 on are running shoes. So the idea, I see people buy leather after leather, leather after leather, and I'm like, you live in a different world than I live, than I live in for sure. But I saw this wallet, and I had already been considering moving on from my wallet, which was like this big and just had credit cards. I was like, I'm ready to move on and to scale down from the backpack size that I use most of the time. And I saw the wallets and I was like, oh, I'd love to have one of those. And I priced them. I was like, there's just no way. There's just no way. But then this one, I got this one on a really good sale on the buy sell trade. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to try this. As you may have noticed, everything I get is brown. As a colorblind person, all those colors, not going to work for me. Not only can I not match them to things, they don't appeal to me. I love brown leather. I grew up on a farm, and my dad was a cowboy, my brothers, and spent a lot of time at the rodeo, and a good brown leather works for me. So I have this that I got on a really good sale, like I said, and this strap is just long enough to be a good crossbody if you take it out and about, and it doesn't hold nearly as much as my purse, but that's okay because I'm ready to pare that down as well, which I've already done. I'm not big on snap closures. This one's okay, but eventually as you pull, it'll rip things. Strong leather or not, over time, it might be 10 years down the road, but that's going to rip. And with those other things, with the elastic, I can replace that. This would be a lot harder to replace, but so far it's great. I like it. And usually if I were in it, I wouldn't have the strap, but I'm not going to deal with that just yet. This is the place where a lot of people put their license, but every time somebody needs your license, they want you to take it out. And there's a pain in the hiney to take it out. So this actually has my library card because I don't need to take it out. Debit card, license, debit card, insurance card, and flexible spending card. And it's perfect. That's all I need. And then in here, under here, I have a little bit of cash. And by a little bit, I mean like usually $10 or less. In here, I have Band-Aids and Excedrin, and sometimes a little ponytail holder, but I don't have one in there right now. Before, I actually have another one of these, and it has pictures of my family that I don't get to see anymore, and then this one has just like a collage of my family, but that was going to be a lot more work to cover up, so I just took it out. Then I do keep like a single pen in here. And because I had this yearly, and it has elastics and room for something. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to need it for because I don't even know how much I'm going to use this. I'll just put this one in because I wasn't using it. And I take it with me and I do a little bit, I sometimes write in it, but I don't use it a ton. What I didn't even think about this. Let me see. Did I put it in here? Hang on a minute. Maybe it's here. Okay. So I was at that funeral, and I had my wallet, and I'm sitting there, and I don't want to be on my phone, but I just made a list. I was like, what kind of goals do I have for the month? And I just wrote them down. So it has the month, and then it has 4 empty pages, 2 and 2. And so it's kind of like a little notebook that I can use. So keeping that in there, this is basically functional. This is the whole thing. So this is a week's size. This is a narrow size. This is the size of the week. See, it's a little bit smaller. And like I said, I wanted to try different things. So this is the one that has the little month, and then it has the week things, and then it has day things. This is Cocoa Daisies, and you can get it in lots of different sizes, but I wanted to try this one. It had a craft cover on it. I tried the reordering of pages that Crow Designs does, and I'll link that down below. I tried that because I was like, this is a total experiment. I got this halfway through the month, so I wasn't planning on it being a big deal. And I decided, since I had it all pulled apart, I would put a different cover on it. So this is another one of those large sheets, and I used the fold that was already there, so it was very established. But it wasn't really good for a sticker. So I got one of the stickers that came with the kit, and then this is from that set from Amber Plans, and I love it. She is strong, And the reason this worked is because this is my physical therapy journal. So frequently I put little sticky notes in the backs or whatever. So the monthly, if it has an arrow up, that means I did my physical therapy. And if it has an arrow to the side, that means I did some. An arrow down means I didn't do any. And right here, I didn't do any, but it was because I hurt myself. And so I was taking those days off. So that's how I'm using this calendar. And then the weeks, this was when I first got it. So I would just write, I did a full workout. This one I was tracking whether I did it night or morning. None, full workout in bits and pieces over a few hours. And then if I had comments I wanted to put on it, I would put right here. And turns out, I wish I hadn't reordered the pages, but it's an experiment, so it was fine. And this time I tried, putting them here and then using the numbers, but then it turns out I prefer it in sentences more. And then I did have a place where I made note of how the day went. And what I decided is, I think I have one for August, and I'm still going to use it for physical therapy. I have a bad shoulder. I had a tear and a bunch of bursitis and calcific bursitis and stuff. So I'm working on that. So I plan to keep using it for that. I don't know if I'll change the cover. I'm not going to reorder the pages, but I also thought it would just be perfect to be a tracking physical activity thing, which I haven't been doing, but I need to do because my hiking partner is like, hello, we need to go hiking. But I've been dealing with some dizziness, and I was iffy about being on the mountain when I'm dizzy. So, plus I don't do well in the heat. We'll see what happens. But I figured it would be really great for that. Plus, here's the other thing. Let me show you this one. So this is the mini from Coco Daisy, because like I said, I just wanted to try a little bit of everything. And so this one is my glimmers. I track my glimmers in here. Glimmers are the opposite of triggers. So a trigger can kick up your nervous system, send you into fight or flight, usually connected to some past trauma. Glimmers are the opposite. They can help settle your nervous system, and it's just little moments throughout your day that just hit hard with the joy or the peace or the happiness, and they just calm your heart. But you gotta notice them, and that's what the book is for. This is the thing. This is part of scripting, and which is also tied back to a million different things. But psychologically speaking, I remember when my therapist told me this years ago, and I was like, that's ridiculous, but he's absolutely right. What you focus on is what you're going to get more of. So if you're focused on all the things that are wrong in your life, you're going to get more of those. And if you're focused on all the things that are good in your life, you're going to get more of those. Absolutely true. So focusing on glimmers instead of triggers can be just huge. This one, I left the craft folder on, and I used the full-size sticker sheet that comes with Coco Daisy with some of those things. And this is actually the whole sheet. It just fits perfectly. If you're gonna do it, this is what I did because it matters. I think I laid this flat and I started the sticker. But then you want to bend it and do the sticker over like this. Otherwise, it won't close. If you have it flat like this, then it won't close. See how it bunches just a little bit when I open it? That's because it needs a little bit more space. And then I put, His mercies are new every day. Also a combination of the bottom. It's two different stickers from the Coco Daisy kit. One like a box and then a quote from the Bible journaling. So with this one, I write a little glimmer here. And even though there are many, I just write one. And I write a little bit about it. And sometimes I want to add to it. So I go a little bit further and I just make a little bit of a note. I put the date so I know what day I wanted to write more about it. Or if I run a room here, then I just continue here and just go here. And what I decided I'm going to do with this, because I do have one for August and I think I'm going to continue this, is I'm going to make it for the front part. Mostly is going to be for glimmers, and then I'm going to use it for quotes and things like that, because frequently I save quotes on my phone or I hear wonderful things and I'm like, I wish I had somewhere to write it down, but it doesn't really fit into the general planning that I do. This would be a great place to write down some of those quotes. So that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to keep using these. So far I was carrying this in my wallet. Actually, for a long time, I just carried them around the house. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, because they don't fit really well in anything. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these. I don't want to buy a new book for each of these. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Other thing I bought these. And this is before I decided to go narrow. I wanted to see some different sizes. These are also both Planner Perfect, and they're gorgeous. This one has dragonflies on the back, which are my favorite. I love dandelions and dragonflies. And this one with the hydrangeas, and it's a wrap pattern. Just beautiful. But I just got journals because I didn't have any plans for them. But I always use journals for different things. So it never hurts to have another notebook. So I got those because I wanted to see the size. This is a B6 and this is a B6 Slim. So let me get my book. Oh, it's over here. So the B6 is the same width as the as a wide, but it's shorter. A wide is 5 inches, and this is 8.5 inches, and this is like an inch shorter. So B6 is same width, a little shorter, and the B6 Slim is the size of a narrow. Oh, actually, yeah, is the size of a narrow, but a little bit shorter. So if I decide to change sizes someday, then, you know, I have one of these and I can kind of compare it and see it. And I don't know if I'll buy any other sizes. I really just wanted to know how these were. Also, I have considered just getting some leather and making myself one of these that could do a wide, or I could do one that's like this. Have I done any leather work? No. Can I do it? Of course I can. Of course I can. It's a piece of leather. It's just a piece of leather with some punches. I could totally do this. And I looked it up. There's all kinds of leather you can buy. So I might make one of these, but for now, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. I don't count this as another book because it's a wallet and I just carry it with me. Oh, that's the other thing. One of the reasons I love this is because it fits in my purse. I can just throw it in my purse. And that's another reason that I didn't want a lot of stuff on it, because if you put it in and out of your purse, then that stuff gets in the way. It's a pain. So, anything else I needed to tell you? I don't think so. Oh, hang on. Okay, so Coco Daisy's August kit is called Flutterby, and it's like this. It's all floral, and it has butterflies, and it's beautiful. And as you saw, I have been trying to get my books to match, and I went through all the books that they had, and I just couldn't find one that I loved. I was almost settled on one, and I was like, no, it's not quite what I want. I thought about trying this one, which I think I could have used, but I already have one, and yeah, it was a little iffy for me, and I was like, what am I going to do? I need to choose something, and then I went, you know what? It doesn't have to match to go with it. Choose one that you love, that's kind of silly, that you wanted to use, that will work. So this is my August, this is my August planner. Are you ready? Here it is. Isn't that perfect? So it's black and white, so it matches anything. And it's a cow. You know where cows spend their time? Eating in the fields. Flowers, if they can, probably. Not usually a lot. But I thought, this is perfect. It's fun. It's one I've wanted to try. And it just seemed like the perfect time. I feel like it goes very well. And I really do imagine this little cow snacking in the field. Also, I'm considering putting one of the butterfly stickers or a rub-on on his nose. We'll see. I don't know. So probably, yeah, my next video will either be my August setup. I don't think I'm going to do the setup. I think I'll just show you what I set up. My August setup, or how I organize my Coco Daisy stuff. Both of those are on my list. Is that it? I think that might be it. Okay, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Go do something fun today. Go on a glimmer hunt. Go find little glimmer things. My glimmer for yesterday was that dinner out with my lady friends. Do I have a glimmer today? Yeah, my glimmer today is getting this video started, because I still got to edit and post it. But I'm really happy with those things. They bring me joy, and that's what it's all about. Go do your thing, and I will see you next time. Bye.